Welcome to PowerCat Live. I'm here with Srinath Kannan. Hi, Srinath.
Hey, Phil. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
You're a principal program manager and you work on Dataverse, really on virtual tables. Tell us about what you do and kind of how you got to that role.
I'm coming up on 9 years in Microsoft, and it's been a great ride. So I've been part of different teams, worked on many different product services and data platforms. And what's been interesting across all these experiences is how to really create differentiated experience for customers to unblock business value through data, right? While data is all around us, at the same time, it's one of the most difficult things to find and use and unlock value. And in the last about 3-4 months ago, when I got the opportunity to come work on Dataverse platform, I was really excited because, as you know, the platform itself is adding so much value for customers to bring data and create that data gravity that they can use in different experiences, can open up so much more opportunities and scenarios for our customers to use both data platform as well as use virtual tables in all of their experiences.
Well, you know, I'm excited for it because I saw your demo, right? And I was like, can you do this again for us? So thanks for being willing to do it. Before we get into kind of what you're working on now, can you explain a little bit what virtual tables are and why someone would want to use one?
Yeah, definitely. Look, the concept of data virtualization or virtual tables has existed in the industry for some time, right? Enterprise environment, there are always going to be data islands and siloed data which somebody needs to reach and use. So virtual table becomes that abstraction layer where a user doesn't have to really know where it is, what's the model behind it, how to access it. What it allows is real-time, on-demand access to this data where the data itself resides. So there is really no delay or the need for data engineering effort or IT support to actually bring data into a data platform like Dataverse to use, but basically leave the data where it is and go to the data and use the data in real time.
And that idea of going to the data where it lives is familiar to anyone that's built a Canvas app using any of the connectors. But you're talking about connecting to it from Dataverse, right? This will look like it's in Dataverse, even though it's still wherever it exists.
Yeah, for someone who's not involved in the setup piece of it, this will just look like the data just exists there and they can do whatever they want to do with the data and however they want to use it.
Having data be able to appear through Dataverse, no matter where it is almost like magic, and it's super useful to enterprises. And you mentioned that capability is not new, but it always required like pro code, right? It wasn't very maker friendly. And so that's what's so important about what you're building now. So describe a little bit about what you're working on now to change that.
Yeah, so the framework for virtual tables and providers existed in Dataverse, but for a long period of time, it existed only in a read-only mode. And we've now enabled full CRUD operation on virtual entities. So that is why it's going to even more appear like native entities.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And on top of that, we've also enabled all the different relationships that can be set up both on native and virtual entities. So it's literally, we are going to, for users, it's going to just appear like the data is just there and they can do whatever it is that they want to do to connect with native entities or create these experiences, right?
Wait, so now, I can create relationships and join data between Dataverse data and virtual entities, virtual tables?
And within virtual entities themselves.
That's okay. That blows my mind.
Yes. And for, of course, the product, they always has been the plugin, pipeline execution mechanisms in Dataverse. And now working with the plugin registration tool team, we've actually now expanded the option for developers to now map their create, update, and delete plugins for their virtual tables. So now,
really? Wow.
Multiple, they can do full CUD on custom entities that they create plugins for.
So I reached out to you to do this because I saw your amazing demo. I know you brought it with you today, so I'm dying to see it again. Can you show it to us?
Definitely, Phil. I think the previous time we connected, I was able to show you only one thing. And if you're amazed with that, you're going to love what I have here for you to show.
Bring it.
Right? So the first one I wanted to show you is the update to our OData provider. So what you're seeing on your right side is basically an OData service I have, where I'm basically capturing some contact information. As you can see, there are two rows of contacts here. And what I've done is obviously set this up, and this is now connected into the Dataverse environment I have on the left side. And I created a virtual entity called person, and I created a model-driven app for it. And as you can see, I see the same two records here. So now I can actually create a user, right? Test user, and I can select a date, save and close. And you'll see in my app, I can see the user. Now I'm going to execute this in my backend, and you'll actually see the third user getting introduced.
And that Postman, that isn't hitting the Dataverse APIs, right? That is an external system that you're revealing in Dataverse, in your model-driven app.
Exactly. And this is the service I'm actually connecting to through the OData provider, right? And I can now, obviously, this is not a real name, so I'm going to change it to my name, save and close. And this is executing the update function now. And as you can see that it updated.
It's so fast, too.
Yes. And instead, I'm just going to click this and delete. And it's gone from the app. I'm going to execute in the backend, and it is. Now, you said it's fast. That is because the fact that there is no data pipeline, there is no movement of data. I'm directly connecting to the external system and operating on the data in real time. That's why it's that fast.
Right? Yeah, it's great.
All right. Second one I want to show you is basically the custom solution, right? So for the custom solution, obviously, developers are going to be involved and they're going to create different plugins. So in this case, the data is actually sitting inside a SQL server. Developers are creating their create plugin, delete plugin, retrieve multiple, what have you. And once the assembly is ready, they're going to use the plugin registration tool and register that assembly and create the custom provider in Dataverse. And essentially, when they do that, what I have is basically a tickets database, as you can see here, which basically stores a bunch of ticketing information, if you will, for this demo purposes. And I have a bunch of seed tickets that are created here, and I'm able to actually do the same thing where I created a virtual table of this provider, which connects to the external data source, which in this case is SQL Server, and you can see all the tickets here, right? And I actually now can go create a ticket and say this is a sample ticket, and I want to set the severity for that and save and close that. So that actually shows up here. And if I execute the same query in my backend database, you will see that sample ticket being created there. So here we quickly went from literally a no-code user using an existing OData service to the other end of a developer creating custom services and custom entities and creating the operations on top of that. And the experience of once it's set up inside Dataverse is just phenomenal for users to just see that it's there and they can use this.
It really opens up a lot of possibilities to build model-driven apps and other Power Platform type solutions on top of really anything.
Definitely, yeah. And I want to talk about the third thing, right, which is one of the most recent introductions that we've had. And you will notice that in the same database, I have another database called AdventureWorks, and it has this product category. So this is a new provider that we are introducing called the Virtual Connector Provider. And the value behind that is we have over 350 or even more connectors supported in Dataverse. And this provider is basically using one of these connections and basically being able to create virtual tables from that. So this is even more powerful because now you can use the more familiar way of how customers have used connectors with Dataverse. Now they can actually seamlessly connect to this through the connectors and be able to create. So in this example, you can see that there's this product category table sitting outside, and I was able to set up through the SQL connector that I have already enabled in this environment to basically be able to pull that data information here. So
the regular SQL connector that's in Power Platform.
The out-of-the-box SQL connector you have. And we are able to connect through this provider and then also create virtual tables for this. So in a way, this covers a wide variety of data that is sitting within an enterprise and providing different mechanisms for them through the virtual table providers to bring them and use them within the Maker Portal experience or within Dataverse, however the customer chooses to use it.
So what's planned next for this feature, right? You showed us an OData API. You showed us a couple examples off of SQL Server, including using the out-of-the-box connector. What comes next?
There are two aspects to it. One is the framework itself, which means anything that we add and improve in the framework, it's going to apply to any virtual table that exists within Dataverse, right? So in that respect, in this calendar year, we'll work on extending further support for different kinds of primary key formats, drive parity against Dataverse data types and attributes so that virtual tables can also be in parity with those, right? And even more importantly, we are trying to enable business events on top of virtual entities. So in addition to just the create, update, delete, and other operations, if you have any events that are happening on top of these virtual tables, you can also use them as a trigger to include them as part of a business process automation or business flow automations or what have you. Right?
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, so that's on the framework side. On the provider, of course, you just saw a glimpse of what we did with the SQL Server provider. And obviously, there are these other providers within our library, and we are actually working on creating designs and supportability to extend that framework for supporting other connectors as well. But more importantly, we are also trying to expand on the design and framework to support custom connectors, because we believe truly that's going to even more create this opportunity, because you will always end up finding this small data island of very important data sitting somewhere which doesn't quite conform to the standardized data protocols, and you will need a way to connect to them. And I believe by creating support for creating virtual tables through custom connectors is going to be phenomenal for our community.
No, that's going to be super powerful for all of our customers that have these custom APIs, these custom data sources they built over the years. So be able to plug it all in.
Yeah, definitely.
So if someone wants to go and try this out for themselves, where should they go?
Great. So I just updated a lot of documentation and released this. So the good place to start is always with our documentation. There's a whole bunch of walkthrough documentations that I have in there with sample code that customers can use to basically try and test this out.
Great. And I will link to your docs in the description of this video. So anyone that is watching it now can just scroll down and go to work.
We do want to reach out to our community. So I'll be looking to create some community events and also create some product group interact sessions. So that's those opening up additional channels for us to engage with community, learn more about how they are going to use these or where they are using these, and take that feedback in to actually even further improve and decide on our roadmap.
Virtual table, virtual events.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this and showing the demo. I think that demo is just amazing. So I appreciate you showing it to me again and talking about what you're working on.
Great, Phil. Thanks for reaching out and having me on your show.
Thank you, Srinath.